welcome back to my channel. I wanted to put out a quick crochet tutorial before Christmas. Reusable cotton face pads are a pretty common gift for crocheters, especially beginning crocheters, because they are fairly easy and they don't take a lot of time to make. Of course, the more simple ones are going to be easier and faster to do, but the slightly more complicated ones do have a more unique look and they can give it a little more texture. So I will be showing how to do all three of these in this video, and you can choose which ones you want to do. You can just do one type, you can mix and match, it's totally up to you. I like to usually do about 10 of these and then wrap them in a nice bow or put them in a jar and give these as gifts around the holidays. So these make nice quick gifts and they're not expensive to make. You don't need a lot of materials to make them. And they also are great for last minute gifts because they don't take very long. If you would like the written pattern for these, it is completely free. The link to it is in the description box. It will show you the pattern for all three of these. Again, you don't have to pay for it. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. So go ahead and download that and take a look at it if you would like. So for all of these, you will need a 5.5 millimeter or H crochet hook. You'll also need a yarn needle to weave in the ends. There should only be 2 ends per cotton face pad, and some scissors so you can cut your ends. The yarn that I used for these is the Lily Sugar and Cream in Faded Denim. And I had an already used one of these, and I made these 3 and I still have plenty left. So I would say you could get at least 10 of at least this basic one, potentially 10 of these other ones too, out of one ball of the Lily Sugar and Cream. You can use any type of cotton yarn you want. You can use any size. Of course, the size of these may change. I've made some with a weight 3 yarn. This is weight 4, and they were really nice. They were nice and small. They were the size of like regular cotton pads that you get from the store, so that could work as well. These will work with any size yarn. Just make sure that you're making it the size that you want to. They're also not too difficult to increase in size too if you need to. Now for this pattern today, I'm going to be using a Lily Sugar and Cream. I do not know what the color is. I believe it is just white. They could have called it some other funky color, but this is a white Lily Sugar and Cream yarn that I have left. So that is what I'm going to use to demonstrate for you all today. So let's get started. All right, the first one I am going to demonstrate how to do is the most basic one. This will obviously be the one that will take you the least amount of time. It is the least complex. And I think that this one is a great project for beginners who have learned just some of the basic stitches. Okay, so for round 1, we're going to go ahead and chain 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the 4th chain, or well, actually to the 1st chain of all of these 4. All right, and then we are going to chain 2. This is going to count as our first half double crochet. We're going to be doing mostly half double crochet in this particular cotton pad, and then we will be doing 9 half double crochet into this the center of these chain 4. So that's 1 half double crochet, 2, and then do 7 more. With the chain 2, you'll have a total of 10 half double crochet. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you at the end of round 1. All right, this is the end of round 1. We're going to go ahead and slip stitch to the 2nd chain of the chain 2. And like I said, you should have a total of 10 half double crochet, including that first chain 2 that you did. All right, that is round 1. All right, round 2 is very easy. We're going to go ahead and chain 2. That will count as our first half double crochet. And then we're going to do another half double crochet into the same space. And we're going to be doing 2 half double crochet into each of these stitches from the previous row. So we will have a total of 20 half double crochet by the time we are done with this round. So I go 2 more. All right, so go ahead and put 2 half double crochet in each stitch around, and you should have a total of 20 half double crochet by the end of round 2. So do that and I will meet you there. All right, this is the end of round 2. Like at the end of round 1, we're going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the chain 2. And there we go. That is the end of round 2. All right, so for round 3, we're going to go ahead and chain 2, and that will count as our first half double crochet. And then we will place another half double crochet into the same space. Now into the next stitch, we will only be placing 1 half double crochet. We'll be repeating this pattern of 2 half double crochet, then 1 half double crochet for the rest of the round. So that's 1 half double crochet, and then in the next stitch we will be doing 2 half double crochet, and then in the next it'll be 1 half double crochet. So we will be doing this until we have a total of 30 half double crochet in round 3. So go ahead and do 2 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, repeat that around, and I will meet you at the end of round 3. All right, at the end of round 3, we are going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the chain 2, and that is round 3. All right, we're at round 4. This will be the last round. It's basically a finishing round, just to give it that nice little rib that we have on this one. If you would like to make these larger, just go ahead and keep increasing until you get the size that you desire. So for round 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then we're going to go ahead and do a slip stitch into the same space. Now at this point, you may want to grab a stitch marker if you have a little bit of difficulty remembering where you placed your slip stitch. Especially if you are newer at crocheting, it can be a little difficult sometimes to see where this is, especially if you have a smaller yarn, or if you have all the same color or a weird color. But go ahead and place a stitch marker at the beginning slip stitch here. That'll make it a lot easier to find when you are done. And then we are just going to keep slip stitching in each stitch around until we reach the end of round 4. So go ahead and do a slip stitch in each stitch, and I will meet you at the end of round 4. All right, we have reached the end of round 4. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker, and then we will be ending round 4 and the project with a slip stitch to the first slip stitch, and then go ahead and clip your yarn. You want to make sure you leave probably 3 or 4 inches just to make weaving in the ends easy. Go ahead and pull the yarn through and fasten off. And all you'll have to do is weave in the ends. You'll have one up here and one at the beginning in the middle. And you can go ahead and make as many of these as you like. They make great presents. So you can make a stack of them. You could just make a couple of these for yourself. They wash very easily. You can just throw them right in the washing machine and the dryer. For them to work more effectively, try not to dry them with fabric softener. Fabric softener makes it more difficult to absorb water. All right, so that is the pattern for the first of the 3 variations of the cotton face pads. All right, this next pattern is for this highly textured cotton face pad. This one uses a combination of a couple different stitches, mostly the bobble stitch right here. I'm a big fan of the bobble stitch. If you've noticed in my previous pattern videos, I make use of the bobble stitch quite frequently, and I really enjoy it, and I think it gives a nice bit of pattern to this and texture, and it looks very nice. So let's get started with this pattern. Okay, so for round 1, we're going to go ahead and chain 4. It'll start out somewhat similarly to the previous cotton face pad. Go ahead and slip stitch into the 4th chain from the hook, or the first chain that you made. And then you are going to go ahead and chain 1. And then you will be placing 10 single crochet into this space here. And there we go. There's a little space that gets formed with the 4 chains that we made. And again, you may want to use a stitch marker so you can count your stitches properly. It can be a little difficult, especially with single crochet and the smaller stitches, to see where you started. All right, so go ahead and place 10 single crochet into the middle here, and I'll meet you at the end of round 1. All right, so at the end of round 1, go ahead and remove your stitch marker, and then we are going to join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet, and that is round 1. All right, round 2, go ahead and chain 1, and then you're going to place 2 single crochet into the same space, and then you will be doing 2 single crochet in each stitch around. We will have a total of 20 single crochet for this round. So go ahead and do that. Do 2 single crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of round 2. All right, at the end of round 2, go ahead and slip stitch to the first single crochet. All right, there we go. Now that is the end of round 2. All right, for round 3, we're going to go ahead and chain 3, 2, 3, and this will count as our first double crochet. And then we will be placing another double crochet in the same stitch, like that. Now, after the 2 double crochet, we are going to be placing a bobble stitch, and this is a 5-stitch bobble. So yarn over, place the hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, pull the yarn through the first 2 loops, and then go ahead and yarn over again, go through, pull up a loop, and you're going to do this until you have a total of 6 loops on the hook, and that will form the bobble stitch. And you want to make sure when you are done forming the bobble stitch that you push it forward. Otherwise, it won't have that typical bobble shape. It'll just kind of be a big mass of yarn. So we have 6 loops on the hook. Go ahead and yarn over, and you're going to pull through all 6 loops on the hook. So right now it kind of looks like a mass, but you're going to be pushing it forward, and you're going to be making sure that you're placing your next stitches in the right stitch. So sometimes when you do a bobble, it can kind of cover the stitch you actually need to go into. So make sure you're going into the correct stitch. So after the bobble, you're going to go ahead and do 2 more double crochet into the next stitch. And this is really important because this will help maintain the shape of the bobbles in this round. So you see, you push it forward, and now you have this nice elevated bobble here. So we have 2 double crochet, bobble, 2 double crochet, and then we will be doing another bobble stitch. And that is going to be the pattern for this round. There will be a total of 20 double crochet and 10 bobble stitches. And this will form the main part of interest for this particular cotton face pad pattern. All right, we have our 6 loops on the hook. Going to go ahead and pull through. And all right, so we have 2 double crochet, bobble, 2 double crochet, bobble. Go ahead and repeat that until you reach the end of round 3, and I will meet you there. All right, so at the end of round 3, we're going to go ahead and join to the third chain of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. And there we go. That is the end of round 3. All right, so for round 4, we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then we are going to single crochet into the same space twice. So 1 single crochet and 2. In the next stitch, we are going to place 1 single crochet, and this is the pattern we're going to repeat for this round. So 2 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the stitch after that. So 2 single crochet and 1 single crochet. Go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around. And like I said, you may want to place a stitch marker at the beginning of the round, just because it can be a little difficult to see it without it. All right, so do 2 single crochet and 1 single crochet, repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 4. All right, so at the end of round 4, go ahead and remove your stitch marker, and we will join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round. All right, and we just have one more round left. That is the end of round 4. All right, so round 5 is going to be the exact same as it was for the previous cotton pad pattern. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and then slip stitch into the same space. And I definitely recommend that you place a stitch marker here, especially because single crochet was the last stitch we did in the previous round. And so there's not much of a height difference, so it can be a little difficult to tell. So we have a slip stitch there, another slip stitch, and we will just be doing slip stitches around in each stitch all the way around until we reach the end of round 5, which is where I will meet you. All right, so at the end of round 5, go ahead and remove your stitch marker, and we will be slip stitching to the first slip stitch of this round. All right, and that will be the end of round 5 and the end of the project. Go ahead and grab your scissors and make sure you leave a few inches, usually 3 or 4, at the end to make sure that you have enough to weave in. And go ahead and pull that end through and fasten off. There you go. Make sure to weave in those ends, and you can make as many of these as you would like. This one will obviously take a little bit longer than the previous one, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to make any last minute gifts. These ones take probably about twice as long as the other ones. All right, so let's move on to the last pattern. All right, so this last pattern makes use of front post double crochets in several of the rounds. And I really, really love the way this one looks and the texture of it. It's very simple, but it's very nice. I actually find that this one is actually a little bit easier to make than the bobble one, and it's a little bit flatter. So this is a nice sort of intermediate size. This is the size that's in the middle of all 3. All right, so let's get started with this pattern. All right, so round 1 of this pattern is the exact same as round 1 of the first pattern. We're going to go ahead and chain 4, and then we will slip stitch into the 4th chain from the hook, or the first chain that you made. We are going to chain 2 to count as our first half double crochet, and we will place an additional 9 half double crochet into the center here, and I will meet you at the end of this round. Make sure to place a total of 10 half double crochet in this round, including this chain 2, and I'll meet you at the end. All right, so at the end of round 1, go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the chain 2, and that is round 1. All right, so round 2, we are going to start with a chain 2. This will count as our half double crochet, and then we will be doing a front post double crochet in the same stitch. So we are going to go around this, which is the chain 2 from the previous round. We're going to go ahead and go around this, and that will be our front post double crochet. So the reason we are mixing half double crochet and double crochet is so that they will actually be the same height. A front post double crochet is about the same height as a half double crochet. All right, so then we will be doing a half double crochet and a front post double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and place a half double crochet in the next stitch and a front post double crochet around the next stitch, just like that. All right, so repeat that pattern of a half double crochet and a front post double crochet in the same stitch all the way around. You should have 10 half double crochet, including this first chain 2, and 10 front post double crochet in this round. And I will meet you at the end of round 2. All right, so at the end of round 2, you should have 10 half double crochet and 10 front post double crochet. It's really easy to tell. Do you have 10 ridges? If you do, great. So go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the chain 2, and that is the end of round 2. All right, so for round 3, go ahead and chain 2 and then half double crochet into the same stitch. So that'll be 2 half double crochet, and then you will do a front post double crochet around the front post double crochet of the previous round. So this is actually fairly easy to keep track of. The front post double crochets only go around the posts from the previous round, and you'll be placing 2 half double crochet into the stitches, into the half double crochet from the round previously. So we have those 2 half double crochet into the half double crochet, and then a front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet. All right, and that is the pattern for this round. Go ahead and do that all the way around. 2 half double crochet into the half double crochet from the round below, and then a front post double crochet into the front post double crochet from the round below. Go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you at the end of round 3. All right, so at the end of round 3, we are going to go ahead and join with a slip stitch to the second chain of the chain 2. And you should have 20 half double crochet and 10 front post double crochet. All right, and we will begin the next round. All right, so for round 4, we are going to chain 2 for our first half double crochet, and we will place another half double crochet in the same stitch. And then we will be placing another half double crochet into the next stitch. And then finally a front post double crochet into the front post double crochet of the previous round. And that's going to be our pattern for this round. It'll be 2 half double crochet into the next stitch. And then it will be 1 half double crochet into the stitch after that, and then a front post double crochet around the front post double crochet from the previous round. So you will have a total of 30 half double crochet and 10 front post double crochet by the time you get to the end of this round. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet you at the end of round 4. All right, so at the end of round 4, you're going to go ahead and join to the second chain of the chain 2 with a slip stitch. And there we go. That is round 4. Like I said, you should have 30 half double crochet and 10 front post double crochet. All right, so round 5, the last round. It is exactly the same as the last rounds of the previous 2 cotton face pads. We're going to go ahead and chain 1 and then slip stitch into the same space. And I definitely still recommend a stitch marker. It's a little easier to tell with this particular pattern, but it still makes it a bit easier to see what I'm doing and where I've already crocheted. So go ahead and slip stitch in each of these stitches all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of round 5. All right, so here at the end of round 5 and at the end of the pattern, go ahead and remove your stitch marker and slip stitch into the first slip stitch. And we will be done with the third of the 3 patterns for the reusable cotton face pads. Go ahead and, like the others, make sure you leave yourself a few inches, clip that off with the scissors, and fasten off. All right, so that is the third pattern with the front post double crochet. All right, now we are done with all 3. All right, so that is the tutorial for the reusable cotton face pads in the 3 different styles. I absolutely love making cotton face pads. Having them be reusable is great, so you don't have to spend as much money on buying the disposable kind. It's probably a little more environmentally friendly. And it is a really great project because it is very budget friendly, both friendly for your time budget and for your financial budget. You already saw at the beginning, this had already been partially used, and I still have plenty of this left. I could probably make another set of these from this partial ball of yarn. So you can get several cotton face pads out of a ball of yarn. So if you're going to make, say, a set of maybe 10 for somebody, you would only need 1 to 2 balls of yarn, and those are only a couple dollars each. And of course, you can use any type of cotton yarn. If you get one that has a blend, make sure that the grand majority is still cotton. I've used a 85% cotton and 15% polyester blend before, and that works okay. But if it has too much acrylic or other non-absorbent material in it, it doesn't tend to work as well, and it might not work well for the face. So I recommend 100% cotton yarn if it's at all possible. All right, and like I said, if you would like the written version of all 3 of these patterns, it is completely free. It is down below. You can go ahead and download that on Ravelry. If you would like to give me a tip or, support me monetarily, I do have a Ko-fi down below, but that is completely unnecessary. That is just if you feel like supporting me for my work. The best support, of course, is just to watch the video, maybe leave a like, maybe subscribe if you want to see future crochet tutorials. I intend to put out a crochet tutorial every few months or so. I had intended to do a different tutorial this month, but life got very busy, and so I decided to do a nice quick one. And this is something that I do for Christmas a lot anyway, and I thought that it would be nice to show off how to do this for other people. And there are plenty of other cotton face pad patterns out there. Go ahead and support those creators as well. Go ahead and check them out. There are so many different ways to make these, and they make wonderful gifts, and they're great for yourself too. I use them myself and I really like them. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please have a happy and safe holiday season, and I will see you next time. Bye.